Howdy.
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 Howdy. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our demo day. Today, we'll be together for about an hour and a half for the Team Up Apps for Good Summer 2025 demo day. So, at first, I'd like to say thank you to all the students for their efforts this summer. Um, Thanks for putting all your time and dedication into these projects. So at first, I'd like to start with a brief outline of our schedule, and then we'll get started. So this demo day should be about an hour and a half, and we'll have two teams presenting their work. Team number one starting, that will be Team Cat Metro, and team number two will be Team Theo. We'll have another section of the meeting for the prizes and the announcements of the awards, and then some closing notes at the end. So before we start, I'd like to just briefly give an introduction about why we're here today, and what the organization is, the mission that is driving Team Up. And I'd like to give some acknowledgement to some of the wonderful people who have supported this effort up till today. So the mission of Team Up is to prepare students, whether in high school or in college, to careers in STEM, using a hands-on approach, meaning that we're getting students involved into hands-on projects where they get to build their skills, not just technical skills, but also soft skills, hard skills, with the help of mentors. So building technology is not just working on another project, but it's really creating something that's impactful. So the hope out of this, out of every cohort, whether it's in the spring, in the summer, or in the fall, is to create something meaningful, something that is impacting the world in a positive way. So we've worked with other nonprofits, we've worked with universities, we've worked with colleges in building simple but yet very impactful solutions for them, whether it is educational tools or tools that could be used for transportation, like the one that is being presented today, tools for mental health, for fitness, financial literacy, um, solving hunger or access to clean water. Very simple solutions that software can solve. And these products are meant to be minimum viable products, right? Very simple applications that are meant to be developed and improved over time. And as you can see in here, I have this short illustration to show what this is all about. In the heart here in yellow will be the applications that students will be developing, just most of the audience here today. But they can't really do this without the support of mentors. We've had the chance to work with great, wonderful mentors who came in and volunteered to support the students even this summer. So helping them on the technical side of things, unlocking bottlenecks, giving them advices and guidance so that they can come up with a working product. The on the other end of the spectrum will be nonprofit organizations that may need help building custom solutions, even just something as simple as a website or a database, a CRM for managing their uh, donors, solutions like that. Universities that would need an app like Theo, which was built this summer for connecting tutors to students, being able to provide learning services, an app that could provide learning services to other students, or any other organizations in general that is working for the social good. And that's what we have here on the right-hand side of the diagram. So to get started, I'd like to really give a thank you and a genuine acknowledgement to our mentors at first. Nancy, Hang, Wes, Josh, we're really thankful. And on behalf of all the students, I would like to express our gratitude for the hours, whether it's in the week or in the weekend, the time that you have spent volunteering with us over the past 10 weeks. To our product managers, Shayna, Claire, thank you for stepping in and providing guidance on building a successful product, also answering students' questions. To our project coordinators on a daily basis, Lorik, Leon, thanks for putting together those manuals. Thanks for setting up the GitHub repositories. All those small details that we're able to help in getting started, making the experience very simple for the teams. Our graphic designers helping in the background and putting together our logos for the applications, helping with creating some designs. Oleana, Irina, Isabella, thank you very much. To our speakers, motivational speakers, technical speakers, we had 5 talks this summer, and this was wonderful. It was a chance for the students to actually get to know what's out there, get to know whether it's how to pass a technical interview or how to deploy an application, or applications of AI and machine learning and software engineering. There was a very wide spectrum of online talks that were given this summer. So thank you, Wes, Bogdan, Andrew, Valentina, Rebecca, and Samantha from Microsoft, for your presentations. We're really grateful for your time. Um, to our board, our executive board and advisory board, Mary Paul, Kathy in New York, Didier and Ange, for supporting our efforts and finding all the partners and supporting funds for these projects to be a reality. To our founders, first, a great thank you to the Greater Texas Foundation for supporting the Team Ups Apps for Good program, and representing the foundation, Bree Miller. Thank you for joining us today. And I'll also like to send a thank you to Andrea for helping us throughout the process and making this project a reality this summer. We're really thankful for your support and continuous support. Also, thank you for the Glenn Bailey Foundation for believing in the mission of Team Up and helping us along the way. To our guests, thank you to Professor Akash Tyagi from Texas A&M University for joining us and really showing interest in our program. Dr. Tyagi has been a professor for most of you in here, I believe, right? From Texas A&M University in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Thank you, Stephen. Sabis has been helping since 2024 with our infrastructure. And thank you for joining the call today as well. Florencia has been with Team Up also for more than 2 years now. So that's it. I'd like to just briefly tell you about the teams that will be presenting today. So we have TO. TO is building an application that's an online marketplace where college students on campus can list their services, whether it is um, tutoring hours in arts or science or learning a new language, right? So the application is meant to handle all the logistics from booking to scheduling and payment. And I want to remind everyone here that these are meant to be proofs of concepts, right? Even though they're not commercial products that are fully deployable, we want to show that there is a capability, that students are capable of building something that it is impactful and could be used. So we'll see the product. There are chances that these could be actually out there as early as the fall semester, right? So thank you guys for doing such a great job in putting this together. The next team will be Cap Metro, building the real-time bus application that's for the city of Austin, offering the ability to see in real time your bus lines on a map. So we'll have a demo showing how you can track the movements, or the position of your of the buses and look at different routes. So this is it. This is a brief introduction. So that being said, I will let the first team start. Thank you for being with us today. Just a disclaimer, the meeting is recorded. So the entire meeting will be recorded, and I would highly encourage everyone to please make it, lively by putting on your camera if possible, so we can see all these smiles here today. Thank you all. So, team number one, Cap Metro, the floor is yours. Thank
Seisha,
you.
can you please share the slideshow?
Yep. You just can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Hello, everyone. We're the Cat Metro team, and I'm really proud to be the team lead of this wonderful group of software engineers for these past 10 weeks. What is CatMetra? CatMetra is a real-time bus tracking application we built for Austin's public transit system that updates bus locations every 15 seconds using data from the Texas Open Data Portal. Users can view individual routes or all the CatMetra lines simultaneously on an interactive map, which makes it easy to plan trips and avoid long waits at bus stops. The application also includes the ability to save favorite routes and save planned trips for ease of use and using Google Authentication login. This tool transforms static bus schedules into actionable real-time information that Austin residents can actually use to make their transportation decisions better and improve their lives. This CAT Metro is really important as the CAT Metro transit system faces 90,000 daily transit users who do not have a free accessible transit app. And additionally, the number one transit frustration is not knowing when your bus is going to come and not having confidence and control in your ability to utilize the public bus system. So this application allows users to know if a bus is going to be coming late or when it's going to be coming, tackling this number one frustration and being free for the public.
Okay, so this flowchart essentially just outlines the main components of our system architecture. So our front end, back end, and database are all hosted on DigitalOcean. And so that's the outer container for all three. And then we're able to see how the client side through the web browser is able to interact with our backend through the WebSocket connections and the REST API calls. And so overall, this diagram is just meant to showcase the main technical tools that we were using in this project and the interactions that they have with one another.
As for our implementation progress, we were able to complete MVP versions of the front end, the back end, the database population, as well as we had a development deployment, and now we have a production level deployment done on DigitalOcean.
All right, so I'm gonna take it away for the demo. If you just click on this link, it'll take you to the website. So let me log out. I was actually logged in previously. So when you first look at the website, you're gonna look at the map. You're gonna get the routes modal where you can select multiple routes and view buses on those routes. When you click on the buses, you can see the scheduled arrival time, delay, their wheelchair accessibility and bike accessibility. And same thing with the stops. You can see the stop ID and the stop information. You can click on show all to show all of the routes, and you can click on hide all to hide all of them. There is a places search feature, so you can search for Austin and put a marker there. And we also have the get current location feature. So let's say you allow it this time, and then it'll show where I am. And so we also have the feature to favorite the routes, but right now we need to log in, so we can only favorite the routes when you're logged in. So the login feature was actually made by Clarissa. So as I do the login, she's going to talk about it.
Yeah, so currently we have it set up through Google to where you can sign in with your Google account to log in. And I think future functionality, we will include regular login as well.
Yeah.
So when you first log in, you're able to properly select those stars to save those routes. And you are also able to view these routes in your saved routes area in the plan trips page. And then Seisha can talk to us about how we save trips.
Yep. So now that we're able to favorite routes and we're able to log in, the second part of our website is going to be the plan trips page. On the left top corner, you can see a search bar. You can use this to search for places. So let's say we want to go to Gallery of Pets. We can search that up and it's going to give you all the information. It's going to, with the reviews, with the timings, the phone numbers, blah, 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 pictures, all that stuff. It's going to map to that location. And once we click on directions, it's going to auto populate the destination field. And all we need to do is just put in the origin field. And it's going to pull up all the different routes that are available. We tried to mimic Google's UI as much as possible. So you can select on different ones, different routes, and it's going to display the buses that are servicing that direction specifically. So let me just unselect those. So you can see that these are the buses that are on that specific direction. The buses that are outside the direction are specific to that route. So they're not stray buses. They're just on that route, but they're not in this specific direction. Yeah, and you can select a specific route, specific navigation, and you can go to the details. Again, we try to mimic Google's features as much as possible. It also gives you the cost, how many stops for each transit, how much walk time. You can go back. You can also swap, and you can see that it immediately says, I need to save this route. You can see I have this already favorited. It's in the database, so it shows up. But if I switch, you can see it doesn't recognize it. So it says I need to save it. If I click on it, it'll go back here. We also have options to change your departure time. So let's say I want to depart at 8 p.m. You can see change to 8 p.m. And if you want to arrive by 8 p.m., you can see that we can arrive by 8 p.m. We also have options for fewer transfers, less walking, and you can see how this modal changes as we change these options as well. And yeah, same things. You can click on the buses. You can get to know their wheelchair accessibility, bike accessibility. You can close it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the demo. Let's go back to the slides now.
Okay. Howdy, my name is Harsh Patel, and I have the privilege to be the co-lead of the Cap Metro project and the lead backend developer for the backend. So imagine trying to show hundreds of live buses to dozens of users every 15 seconds without slowing down the app. That's the challenge me and my team tackle in the backend. My role was to build the backend system that powers these live updates efficiently. So Cap Metro's app shows live bus data every 15 seconds, and each user only receives updates for the routes that they're viewing, keeping the app fast and reducing the load on their devices. So originally, the problem was live updates were done via HTTP, which caused delays and wasn't really truly real time. To solve this, I implemented a WebSocket system with a per session routing and a database connection pool, which handle around 60 concurrent user at max in our tests and maybe likely more. Also added a front-end key to secure the backend from bots and crawlers so it doesn't get too heavy on the backend. We load tested the system with 300 simultaneous users over 60 seconds, adding about 5 users per second. Everything stayed stable and with zero errors. So through this project, I learned a lot about WebSockets from scratch and applied object-oriented principles for session-based updates. And just had the opportunity to build this real-time scalable app. Thank you. Handing it off to Derek.
Yeah, so my name is Darren Collingwood. I was a backend developer for CapMetro. You can see a lot of the, so my task was primarily working on, fleshing out the back end, working on a lot of the API things you can see here. One of the big challenges we face is how do you authenticate users? Because you would think on a on a bus app, there's not a whole lot that you need to protect in the back end, but because we have users, there's quite a few things like user preferences. In the future, if we were to do the proprietary login, they would have passwords and things in there. So for that reason, I helped work on the JWT authentication, and we use that in conjunction with the Google login to authenticate requests and make sure that at least the user routes are very well protected. I also implemented a lot of the unit testing on the front and back end. These are some of the tests you can see here, as well as working on the WebSockets on the front end.
My name is Shruti Organti, and I was a backend developer for this project. My work mainly focused on creating the original database and optimizing queries by creating indexes and materialized views. I also worked on creating few API calls for the stop section. So the information that you see when you click on a stop or a bus, kind of that access that information from the database. I also worked a little bit on the security side, creating a double cookie submit pattern for CSRF protection. And finally, I worked on end-to-end testing as well as integration testing. Two main challenges that I faced during this project was learning how to aggregate the huge amount of data that's returned by queries. So specifically to return a list of all the stops grouped by direction and route ID, I learned on how you can process query output into a nested dictionary structure that makes it easy to return it as a JSON. So it really sharpened my skills with Postgres SQL queries as well as like multi-table joins, but it also taught me how to like structure complex data sets into clean responses formatted as JSON. Another thing was how do I manage authentication when I was doing the end-to-end testing, because there were features, as Seisha demonstrated, that were only accessible if you logged in. So that also I learned about how you can like store the session storage data after one manual login and how you can use that to authenticate to like mimic authenticated states. And so it really again strengthened my understanding of how test lifecycle goes and implementing efficient persistent strategies.
Hi, my name is Keisha Patel. I also worked as a backend developer, and the two main things I worked on were the GTFS data fetch script, which is our static data, and the database, whether that was maintenance or just overall structural changes. And one of the main obstacles I came across is learning how to navigate prioritizing security and taking preventative measures when it came to the database. So to fix this, I did a few things. One, I added a local backup to the GTFS data fetch script, so our database would never be fully compromised and we were always able to revert back to a previous stable version of the DB. And so this was a really good lesson in learning how to navigate using outsourced data and not just trusting it at will. And then a larger structural change that I made to the project itself is that we have materialized views for each of our static dataset tables. So our websites continuously query from the views themselves. So we constantly have usable data. And then lastly, kind of hand in hand with the database, I worked a lot with DigitalOcean and have learned a lot about database permission, connection issues, and just overall any like generic issues that you may come across with when navigating a host platform like DigitalOcean.
Hi, my name is Mei He. I'm a backend developer. I implemented Swagger documentation for the backend API routes, as well as the README guide for it. I faced challenges when Flask RESTX conflicted with our existing blueprint routes, since both systems handle the routing differently. After discussing with the team, I switched to Flasker, which works perfectly with our current structure by just adding the decorators. I learned to evaluate technical solutions based on compatibility with existing code, not just features. Besides that, I also implement stop APIs a real-time fetcher script to retrieve real-time vehicle data, and added log messages for easier debugging.
And as well, Yoma wasn't able to join us today, but he was on the front end, often shadowing me, Clarissa, or Seisha with our work, and he said that he learned a lot about React and was really enjoyed the experience and being around students that knew so much more than him and learned a lot. I myself learned a lot about how to lead, especially from Harsh, who came in very calm and giving out tasks and listening to others. And I really learned from him and learned from everyone within the team. For our documentation, we have really extensive documentation in our docs folder, the type docs, which I created for all the pages and components, as well as the swagger.io done by May. And now what's to come?
Okay, so I'm gonna take it away for what's to come. Let's look at this video. We already started on a React Native version. You can ignore there, it's a network error. We're just debugging it right now. But you can see we have a basic version of a map working and we're displaying all the routes. And Clarissa, would you want to talk about the regular login function?
Yeah, so the regular login would also, you would be able to input an email and password, and just regularly, if you don't like, I guess, really use Google that much, you can also create an account using the create account button, and if you have forgotten your password, you can click the forgot password and it'll send you an email where you can reset your password. So just like any other regular login, it would have all that functionality.
Yep. Yep, that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Thank you guys. Great presentation. So we'll spend the next few minutes for a Q&A.
I have a question. Is there a way to search for specific routes? I noticed on that left side where it showed all the routes that were available, if you favorited something, it would skip to the top. But is there a way to quickly search for a specific route?
Yes, so we do have functionality to just click on the favorite route, and then it pulls it up in the navigation. So let me just go ahead and share my screen so I can show you how that works. So since I'm logged in right now, if I go to plan trips and if I go here to trips, if I just click on this, it's gonna pull it up. So
Okay, I really meant like if you haven't favorited it yet and you're looking for a specific route, like you know the name of what you need and you're looking to favorite it, is there a way to search for it?
you mean like the navigation ones or like the
Like, okay, so if you go back to the main page or
yeah.
the original map,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, so you're saying here.
Yes, is there a way to search all of the routes on there?
By search, you mean like
So I can pitch in here.
okay.
I don't think we do, Duncan, and mostly the reason for it is like if you are a first-time user coming in, you're rarely gonna know routes by name. Even people who are using it day by day don't know the routes by name. That's why we have the favorite functionality that jumps it up. But no, for first-time users, we do not have that functionalities because what we thought of as users coming in is like, okay, I want to get there. So either they do plan trips or either they look at their live location and just select the routes that they think is closest to them. But that's definitely something we can do later on. That's actually a good idea.
Okay.
I have a cool question. So you guys showed the like the short demo of the React Native like port to iOS. I want to know like how much time, because it looked like you had a pretty like decent like rudimentary basis for that. I want to know like how hard the process was, how much time y'all spent on porting it to the React Native.
So the routes that you see on there, that would be static data we pull from like a file, because the routes don't change themselves. So that will be static data, and the maps itself, we have a package called React Native Maps. I'm currently trying out an alternative called Expo Maps because I'm using Expo to build the app. But Expo Maps is right now in alpha mode, and there's like a lot of issues with using it during development and stuff. So I'm probably going to revert back to React Native Maps. If I had to give a number of hours estimate, I would probably say 2 to 3 hours.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question for Cat Metro team. With all of the knowledge, with all of the experience that you have at this point, what would you do different if you restart the project?
So I would personally start off with the WebSockets as the first thing. We kind of switched from we switched to WebSockets in the middle, but I would definitely start off with the WebSockets at the very beginning. Yeah.
I would agree with that. That was what I was gonna say. But
Yeah.
since Isha already said it, I would say creating like the documentation files as we're creating the code. I think mostly ours was like done mostly on like the back half of the 10 weeks, but I think creating like the documentation file at the same time as the code and having that will just make it like better and also have you like understand your own code better and find bugs and be able to do it at the same time because no one likes doing documentation, but I did a lot of it and that was good.
I guess,
Yeah,
and
I
that,
wanna
and I was gonna say in that same kind of vein, doing testing very early on too. I think for a lot of the same reasons would have been really, really good.
Yeah.
Would have saved us a lot of pain as far as bugs go.
Yeah,
Like
so I
there-
think that I think thank you so much for that question, Hung. It's like really open-ended, but I think as far as problems go, I think we could have spent a bit more time on design from the start, which would have solved a lot of these problems because I know WebSocket came in first and all that. Along with that, I think really focusing on not just coding, but good code practices and clean code is also really important that we struggle with. Like debugging can help and a statement can help, but if you have some bad logic or bad coding practices, that's something that I struggle with. Is like, okay, it's just like a mess of code and I'm just trying to look in like a needle in a haystack. So I think definitely spend a bit more time on design more than coding because that's one thing we could have done probably a bit more better.
I think I have a comment to that, Harsh, which is in general, you basically pursued kind of rapid prototyping or proof of concept approach, which is fine. And to sort of be able to anticipate what your problems might be, it's sometimes good to try to identify the areas which you're most uncertain about, like, for example, performance or in the case of the WebSockets, that would be something where maybe ahead of time, performance wasn't the main concern in terms of design, but performance is one major thing you should try to drill into at the proof of concept stage or at the early design stage. It's not bad to start writing code, but it's good to use it in a certain way where you are going to try to prove out the things you're least certain about or that are most critical.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what I'm trying to convey, and you're exactly right, Nancy. It's like we spent a lot of time on database design, but we didn't spend as much time in front end design and back end design because no one really thinks about those. But now thinking back, we probably would have benefited a lot. It's like, okay, it's a real time app, and personally, I didn't know about WebSocket. It's like, okay, real time app, HTTP should do. But there was just a bomb in the middle. It's like, oh, real time. Then I got introduced to WebSockets, learn it in a week, employ it. So yeah, I think design phase, not just for database, but front end and back end would really help out a lot. I think that's one thing like we could definitely focus on. But yeah, thank you so much, Nancy.
And I think my next question is from like team leader. What are the non-technical experience that you can learn from the whole process here?
I think a lot of what I learned was like how to like talk to people and lead in a way that is good. So I think a type of leader that I would want to be is someone that not just like tells people what to do, but really asks them like about tasks and their own opinion and uses like the people on the team to contribute, and Harsh did that very well, and I picked up on that and started doing that. It's like not just assigning tasks, but asking like, is this a good idea? Getting people's feedback as well as leading by example, and also like doing work yourself and like putting effort and like your own passion into it, and that like feeds into the rest of the team. Like that was a big thing that I learned that I think was like very like much, because this is my first like team lead experience, and I think that was something really important to learn for me.
Yeah, definitely. I want to add to that. Adriana pitched in perfectly. It's my first team lead as well, and I learned it from Adriana a lot on how to manage, on how to like just when talking to someone, she's taking detailed notes. And I'm just learning with that. Like, okay, that's something to learn. And one advice that Hung you yourself gave to me is like management will always be disorder, and I think that still sticks to me because like just no matter how I try to organize, it's not gonna organize. So when you came in and says like, okay, management is gonna be disorder, it kind of makes sense, and it's like not trying to manage everything. But team lead has just, our co-lead has just been like a lot of learning because like I'm surrounded by people who are smarter than me, and that just gives me opportunity to learn more from them because I'm doing pair programming, debugging session. So we just it might be frustrating a bit, but the learning that we do and we get is just insane. I don't think we can get that in a classroom.
Great. So how did this experience change your perspective of using technology for social good?
Um, I'll try to tackle that answer. It definitely shows you how much effort is being put into making something that's first stable, bug-free, and provides so much usage to users. Especially in our case, it saves the writer's time, because time is the most precious thing in this world. And if you're sitting stuck at a bus stop trying to guess what bus is gonna come at what time, that would be horrible. And if you gotta pay for that, that's even worse. So um, building a free app that does all of these functionalities and saves a lot of time is very hard. And I have so much more respect for all the people who contribute to open source projects. So
I would also
Thank you.
say that it's a lot of hard work to put your time and effort into basically doing things for others. And I just think that inside, though, it makes you feel really good about yourself. So that's why I did it.
Just to add on to that, I also feel when you code for some social responsibility or for doing something good, you don't just think about the end product, like whether it's working or not. You think about whether it's working reliably, whether it's accessible. You start thinking about those features that usually don't come to your mind when you think of a software development. Accessibility isn't always the first thing that comes to people's mind, but when you're designing it for a social purpose, those are things that actually lead your design. Like, how does a user think? How will the user most benefit from this a lot when it comes to social projects?
Yeah, just to add on to what Shruti said, I feel like I have a much more user-driven perspective now that I worked on a project like this. I know what questions to ask, what questions to take on, what types of things to prioritize when we're making a project like this. So I think going forward, I will continue to try to think of the consumer of like a product like this more.
Great.
Yeah, I think Keisha really nailed it with that word that I was looking for, user-driven mindset, because that's something even not just in the starting, but in the middle. It's like when looking at our code structure, it's like we had a couple of those user-driven questions that I kind of just think for hours, just like, okay, what would they like? But it's kind of hard to do that with just one thing. And thanks for our team. I think we have a very, very good user-driven project. But I think, yeah, number one thing is just like putting ourselves in users' shoes and avoiding that tunnel vision when coding. It's really helpful and it's also really challenging.
I have one comment to to this topic, and that is when you use publicly available data like this, you first of all are able to provide a service for free to users, as was mentioned. But in addition to that, since you actually have all this data now, you can also look at, for example, are there some underserved areas in the city, and are there certain places where people's commuting always gets bogged down because of bad routing or problems on the roads. And so this gives you an opportunity to kind of further the public good aspect of it. In other words, when you work on projects like this, it gives you the opportunity to reveal what might be going on that might be of overall use if it was publicized. So that means sort of making your data available and also doing what you can to help people who may be not getting the best end of the stick on the public transportation in this example.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially like working a lot on the database, I saw a lot, I had a lot of access to a ton of information at my disposal. And so it was really interesting to see kind of the background works of data like this and being able to actually dive in and like you said, see the underserviced communities, the streets that typically get more coverage and that type of thing. So it's interesting to see the new perspectives that you can get from data like this and just being able to use it. It's definitely a tool for good.
And then more generally, anyone can take a look at the Texas data portal, the Texas Open Data Portal, and see what other types of publicly available data there is, that could be used to design projects or shine a light on what's going on. It could be anything like environment and education and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it just goes to show like how much you're capable of with just the information that is publicly available. Yeah.
On that note, they do need to expand into east of Austin because there's no buses from my house to anywhere.
You could prove that by showing that there's no data.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's the type of thing where, you can provide information to legislators. I mean, that's sort of the democratic process where whatever you find, it's maybe a little idealistic, but it can be done.
Great. Thank you guys for the comments, the feedback. Wonderful conversation. We are right at 6:45 Central. I think the next team will take the floor. This will be Team Theo. Thank you.
All right, you ready, team? Let's see. Let me get my screen share going. Okay. And Kaushik, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Howdy, everybody. I'm Kaushik, like Duncan just said. I'm the team co-lead for Theo, and this is our final demo presentation. So the problem we want to solve with Project Theo is that currently a lot of tutoring services and websites that are available are teacher to student. And studies have shown that when students learn from their fellow students, it leads to them having higher learning outcomes, as shown in the study conducted by Tullis and Goldstone. So we wanted to solve this problem by making a platform for students to connect with and tutor other students. So ideally, this platform should allow students to connect with other students from the university quickly and allow them to make payments easily in-house through the application. So our product, Theo, is an online marketplace for tutors where tutees can find tutors and make appointments. Tutors can receive requests for these appointments and then either approve or deny them. And then appointments can also be edited, and then the updates can be viewed by both the tutee and the tutor before they approve. And appointments can also be searched based on different filters like availability, subject, and information. Currently, payments and means aren't done in-app. We didn't have the time to implement these features, so right now it's done through contact information that the tutor and tutee share on their profiles. in the future, we hope to have payments be done through the website using something like Stripe, and meetings being held using some other framework as well. So the social impact that Project Theo brings is helps foster a sense of student community. It encourages a peer-to-peer connection, collaboration, and it creates a supportive campus community where knowledge and experience is shared. It also helps further education by making tutoring more accessible and personalized, and it encourages student-led academic growth outside of the classroom. It helps empower students by allowing the tutors who are students themselves gain leadership, teaching, and entrepreneurial skills, and then the learning students get ownership of the academic development. Also helps access to education by offering flexible, on-demand help tailored to specific students' needs, which may not necessarily be offered by traditional university services. So the tech stack / architecture of our product looks like this. We have Django serving the backend and React serving the front end. We use DigitalOcean, the app platform deployment feature, to host the backend, front end, and database. And then we use Postgres SQL for the database. So some of the features we've implemented in a demo, we have a homepage and / landing site with the basic site information. We have Google OAuth for logging in and authentication. And we have profile customization with hosting a lot of different contact options like Discord, email, phone number, LinkedIn, etc. And then we have a flow currently to become a tutor, and you can create, edit, find appointments other people have made, and join appointments. And then we also have a custom calendar for you to visualize what time your appointments are at. Okay, let's get into the demo.
Hello, my name is Adam. I'm a front-end developer for Theo, and I will be showcasing the landing page. The landing page is made of 3 sections. The hero section, which is present on your screen currently, and this is a section that catches like the user's attention and leads them in the right direction on getting started. Next, below that, we have the About Us section, in which it explains our missions, goals, and reasoning of our social impact. And then the last section is the How It Works section, where it explains a general overview of how someone interested in getting tutoring help can achieve that on our website. And then at the bottom is a footer where the user can find helpful resource links such as information about us, ways of getting into contact with us, finding and requesting a tutor, and working with or like sponsoring us. And then lastly, at the top is our nav bar, in which you can use the links on the left to navigate to each parts of the landing page, or you can continue and log in using Google OAuth to get started as a 2D, in which I will allow Owen, a member of the backend team, to talk more about it.
Yeah, my name's Owen. I'm part of the Theo backend. We implemented Google OAuth authentication to allow users to sign in securely using their Google account. We also prevent unauthenticated users from accessing most of our pages. And when a user signs in for the first time with Google OAuth, they automatically become a tutee. We also have logout to let users change accounts. And then now I'll pass it over to Reniv to talk about the calendar.
Hi, I'm Reniv. I was a front-end developer on Project Theo. I implemented both the account page and along with this calendar, which allows users to view appointments they have scheduled through a variety of views, so monthly, weekly, as you saw earlier, daily, and also all planned events through the agenda. And it also includes real-time tracking, as you may have seen through that little yellow line going through. And I'll hand it off to the next developer. Oh, right, if you click on the event itself, you can see more details about the tutoring session you have signed up for. And if you yourself are the tutor, gain access to editing the session itself. And also, if you click View Profile, it will lead to the account page for the tutor.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and I am one of the front-end developers. And so this is the tutor dashboard. So on the tutor dashboard, if you're signed up as a tutor, you have the option to confirm tutoring sessions or create new sessions. So when you create a new session, it'll pull up and you can add a title, the subject, the course number, whether it's online or in person, the cost, as well as the date and time. And so once you do that and create a session, you can find your session in the Find a Tutor page. So here, anyone can search for different information, search for like appointment details, dates, times, and find a specific tutoring session that they want to join. So you can search by subject, and it'll narrow down your search results. So you can click on the session, and inside the session, you can see all the details, and you have the option to book the session or view the profile.
So this has been what the app looks like from the tutor's perspective. We also have the app from the student's perspective. I'm Duncan, by the way, another one of the team leads, in case I forgot. From the student's perspective, a lot of things will look very similar. You have your logging in. The tutor dashboard will have the flow where you become a tutor if you wish. And you can also continue to search for appointments. One thing to note is you can view other people's profiles in order to get information about them. This is one of our backend engineers. They put together a little profile for us, and we can see this is how we can get in contact with them, so on and so forth. We also have user accounts. So we're currently on the Team Theo Google account. There's no information here, but it would, as you can see for the Michael's account, you can fill it out. You can also then edit your own information as need be. There are slight differences between tutor and tutee accounts. On the tutor side, you can put courses that you've taken and that you will like to tutor for. Last but not least, we'll display our API documentation. Let's do here.
All right, howdy, I'm Andre, and I'm also a backend developer. And so here we have our API documentation. We used Django's REST framework to make a API that accesses our database. And here you can access all the models in there. You have the basic user model. You can pull up all the tutees, which is just your base user. And then when they upgrade to a tutor, that's automatically create a tutor profile for them with additional information. You have ways to access the courses. You have schools. So we have like about 6,700 schools to choose from, and tags for filtering. And additionally, we have the actual sessions, which has a built-in flow for confirmation logic with the tutor and the tutees. And when everyone's confirmed, the session will be confirmed. If any changes are made, everyone's unconfirmed, and we're back into a draft state and all of that.
So, what were some challenges that we came across while developing Theo? Our biggest challenge that we came across was the profile page. Our first implementation was bug-ridden. It was a little unintuitive to use, and it was cumbersome to work with. And after much deliberation, we decided we had to do a full re-implementation of the profile page. We rearranged some things. We changed how editing works. It was a massive time commitment, but it was really necessary in order to ensure a more quality MVP. And it was probably one of the hardest decisions we had to make. Authentication was also an important challenge. We weren't confident in our ability to securely store information for users, so we used Google OAuth as an identity provider. We also used environment variables for configuration to set this up for both production and development. One of the biggest challenges was connecting the big end of the back end and front end development-wise, mainly just because we had this API and we had our front end, and they didn't necessarily know how they had to work together. So our solution was to have a on-call developer from the back end that would help the front end people with any issues they came across while trying to use the API. Last but not least, some information needed to exist longer than a single page or a reload, which React is notoriously bad at. So we use local storage and cookies to keep long-term data. Our team communicated mostly through Discord. we also had a Google Project board for tracking tasks and making sure we can see where everything what state everything we're currently working on is at and who's currently working on it. We had thrice weekly Scrum meetings to get together and discuss our progress and get help if necessary. Ooh, sorry about that. We also have all of our contributions listed here. Everyone did a lot of work in order to get this, so I won't be reading through every single thing here. I will also like to note, though, that we are very happy that we were able to get our high school mentees to be able to actually add some code to the project as well. So I'll let this a little longer in case you guys want to read the contributions a bit more. For our lessons learned, number one, we would say our biggest lesson is to make more careful estimations. Kaushik and I were highly optimistic at the beginning of the project when we were discussing how much we could do and how to do it. So I think learning that, hey, software development, software engineering is hard, let's keep that in mind, is something we should keep in mind. Documenting everything. We did our best to document as we went along, but even still, we are missing some documentation that would be helpful, especially to do with error messages and stuff like that. Ensuring clear direction is given. Sometimes we would come across a task and we'd assign them to developers, and the developers would do a great job, but there would be some things that were missing, or there would be some issues, and we'd have to go back and forth in order to get those issues resolved. Having clearer instructions reduced that process and made us ship features faster. Like we mentioned earlier, integration between the front and the back end usually took the longest. So we just had to plan that, hey, we could get the development for the back end and front end done real fast, but it's going to take a while to get those together. Being realistic with goals goes with number one, just making sure that we're not over-promising. Starting CI/CD earlier, we now have processes in line which automatically run our test suite in order to ensure that things are working properly. This was implemented very late, however, and it required a lot of manual testing beforehand, before we had it set up, which could be a time waste while developing. So starting CI/CD earlier, as well as implementing a testing framework earlier, was another big lesson that we learned. That is our product. Do you have any questions? Thank you for listening.
Great job, guys. Thank you for the presentation. Thanks for going over both the technical details and the user experience as well. This is something that definitely has an immediate adoption here on campus, right? Or for those of you who are here on campus, you know that when a project comes up and you need help in a certain discipline, learning is a skill, finding someone is crucial, and time is of the essence. So yeah, thank you guys for working on this project. So we'll open the floor for Q&As, questions, comments.
I have a quick question. So for the team Theo, if the tutor and tutor wants to like maybe not just get in a session, if they want to like exchange notes or like maybe cross-check work, is there any chat application that they can do it? Because maybe not every doubt needs a live session. Like does it have anything like that, or do we just like exchange numbers?
Yeah, so for the most part, our goal for this MVP was to connect students in as many ways as possible. So we do not have like an inbuilt chat function for that for Theo. That's actually a really good idea and something we could look into. For the most part, we were more focused on getting as many ways for people to exchange their own contact informations in order to have those conversations on the side. So that could be something to be implemented alongside the payment processing.
Okay, yeah. And just to say, relate, I understand the realistic goal. So after mid demo, we just went roller coaster. Like we thought, oh, wait, code is not buggy. Come on, it works perfectly. And now it's just black magic. It just comes out of nowhere. But yeah, I completely understand with that because software development is not linear. But yeah, thank you for the answering.
I'd also like to hear a few words from one of the high school mentees, and if not, their mentor can kind of pitch in and say something. So, Eric, can you hear us? Are you here?
I can hear you, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you just please share your experience? I mean, you guys are very brave. I'll say that at first before you even answer. Very, very brave to jump in such complex topics, having such limited exposure to software engineering, programming at all. So I really commend you for joining this program and taking this experience, really jumping in and working on this project. But thankfully, you had a wonderful and supportive team to work with, and I really hope that you get something out of it. So I just would like to learn hear about your experience, things that you actually came up with, things that you get out of this over the past 10 weeks.
Okay. So I got off to a rough start by missing the first few meetings because I was on a beach trip. So after I got back and got settled in and was finally pointed in the right direction, I spent the first few weeks just learning coding and attending the meetings, hearing about how the app was going. And then after a few weeks of me just looking at stuff, figuring out how coding works and stuff, I finally got to add my first bit to the code, which was a button, which was a placeholder. But it needed to get done, and I was happy to add something that was about as much as I expected to do whenever I joined in, just add a single button. And then I was actually able to work again with Reneve so that I could add a drop-down bar of the list of schools with a search function. So you could type in the name of the school and it would pop down. And that was fun. It was a lot more than I thought I was going to do, and it was a very big headache because of my little knowledge of coding and how many issues we ran into trying to get that to work. Took way longer than expected, but it got done. And then this week and in the latter half of last week, my school started, so I haven't been able to get in with the group and stuff. But I really enjoyed my time with the group. I feel like I helped more than I hindered, and it's been fun. I've learned a lot. And all in all, I think the worst thing that happened with all of this is I had set an alarm for it and I went to school and the alarm went off in school. So, other than that, though, everything's been positive.
Cool. Thank you. And by the way, Eric is a senior at Brazos Christian School, correct?
Junior.
Okay, junior. Okay, even better.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. All right. Any other questions?
Oh, sorry. Did someone want to go first? Okay, so let me just go ahead. The drop-down bar for the schools, the last time I checked on it, it wasn't like really alphabetically ordered. I would really love it if the next time the site's updated, if it was alphabetically ordered, because I was struggling to find Texas A&M on there. But that's just a small thing that I wanted to mention.
Yeah, it's a little strange how there are some that are Texas A&M as one word and some that are Texas A space and space M. I think it might have to do with the data set that we pulled for all of our schools. So that's something we can also go and try and sanitize a little bit more. But we'll add that to the ever-growing list of things to hand off to the next group.
Sure.
It should also be alphabetized, so that also might be a minor bug in deployment that needs to be checked out. Because at least locally it's alphabetized.
I had a question for the team. If you were a student and you were to use this application, what do you think would be your most important feature? What would you like most about it that it's capable of doing? And then what's one thing that you think as a student using this application to be a tutor or a tutee, what would you not like about this application as it stands right now? Like, what's the most important problem?
Uh, that was a lot. Can you say the first part one more time?
What is the best feature, the most important thing that you would like as a person using this application? And then what's the thing that you would find as the biggest issue that needs to be resolved? So like the best part and the worst part.
Um, out of the features that we don't quite have yet, I would say the payment processing would have been the biggest, but as Harsh pointed out, maybe the chat feature could be the biggest thing that I would want. I think being able to talk in the app would be very important. Um, Kaushik, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would say so being able to like look for the first part of the question, and my answer to both parts go hand in hand, but my favorite part of the app is being able to go into like tutors profiles and look at what other courses they offer. So maybe like I can tell, oh, they're like specialized in math. This is a good choice to take for math. But also something that goes kind of hand in hand with that is I've been noticed like whenever I try to go to an account page, there's like a little bit of latency. So if I'm trying to look at a lot of different tutors, that would really annoy me if I had to like wait for the loading screen for like half a second before I could look at that tutors page.
Yeah. I would also like to add, as someone who may end up using this app in the future, I really like that you can just see what the people know when they choose to provide it. So you can see, oh yeah, they take these classes or they are specialized in this. And I think that the thing that I would uh want most was to just be a good way to just say, uh, hey, can we move the time? So like just like a little can't make it, be here in like 10 minutes thing.
Yeah, and to clarify on that as well, that was one of the sacrifices that we had to make due to time constraints. As we mentioned earlier, we do have a confirmation system. I believe it's currently it's slightly tested, but there are probably issues with it. The main thing being that the idea here is when a tutor wants to make a change to the appointment that people have already joined, it would be sent out to the tutees who are currently signed up for that session as well. And it could also go the other way, where the tutee can request changes to the tutor for everyone else to confirm. So that is a very good thing to bring up, Eric. Thank you. And we had plans for that, and we might need more.
Something else I'd like to add is also when a tutor receives a confirmation, I do not believe we actually have anything set up so that way the tutor like knows they received the confirmation until they actually navigate to their tutor page to see what confirmations they have. And another thing, I don't remember if we scrapped it due to time or if we just thought we didn't need it. We also planned to have to store tutors' transcripts, so that way students could look at tutor transcripts and see, hey, they got this grade in this class, so they know what they're talking about and such.
Yeah, I think that transcripts thing was like a scrap due to time, but like to add on to that, something else we added to that that I think would be useful is we used to have like a little updates thing, and it had a placeholder at the midterm presentation, but we just didn't have the time to implement it during like the time we had after that, so we just ended up removing it entirely from the website.
Great.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
No, I have maybe I have a comment about my effort with both with the team. So I think for my effort with both Cap Metro and Theo, I wish to bring the real experience of like working as a software engineer. And from the software engineer perspective, I hope that I bring enough like information and enough discussion so you can see how a software engineer work, and also how a software engineer actually care about the product, care about like the team members, and also care about whoever use your product, not just the user, but also like whoever that maintain the product after you, whoever that will continue to work on a product that you develop. So that is a thing that as a software engineer, you should always pay attention to it. Make sure that that is the value that you bring with you if you choose this career, because you are paid not just by your technical experience, not just by your technical expertise, but also how you care about like what you deliver, how you care about the team that you work with, how you care about whoever that you interact with. And then with the team leaders, I hope that I bring enough, I think, pressure to actually give you more understanding into about how to be a team leader, because that is a kind of a different, I think, different perspective in a team. So you need to manage communication. So make sure that you as a team leader, you understand the requirements, you understand the direction, and you have agree on the same page with all the entity in the system. So product owners or whoever that you work with. And then you have to be on the same page with your developers to be on top of update, to be on top of progress, to make sure that you know how to help your team move forward. So, and then I think one of the last thing that I talked to Harsh about as a team leader or as a like management entity of a team, sometimes you just cannot avoid chaos. So, I mean, chaos is the natural thing. You just not can like avoid it, but you develop a system, you develop a like a solution that can adapt your team, that navigate your team through chaos. So that is the second thing that as a team leader, I hope that I bring enough like experience for you to actually feel with that kind of nervous to work with. So yeah, that's all my comment for both of the team leader for Discord. Yeah.
I can add to that, which is it was remarkable to me how much like a real software engineering team these two teams were. You know, the same pitfalls, the same successes, and I was very impressed by the collaboration, the ability to collaborate in the way that they did, because that's something that sometimes people who are more experienced have trouble with. And I think that students are in good shape for really contributing to a team at whatever level they enter.
Yes. Any other questions? So I'd like to ask about the future. If you were to have another summer or another semester to keep working on this, what would be the feature that you would prioritize for adoption of your users, from your users?
I think for me personally, I would want to first spend time polishing what we do have before we start adding anything new.
Right.
We were honestly pushing code out earlier today to make sure that things were working. And so I would want to take the time, now that we have the very base level functionality for everything, I would want to make sure that base foundation is secure before we start adding more onto it. Because if we have an unstable foundation, everything's bound to collapse at some point.
Okay.
If you are asking for like our very next feature, let me pull up my documentation page and see what we have. I think it would be most likely updates. So adding easy to find ways to see how things are changing, because tutoring sessions are such a volatile experience and they change all the time. I think having those updates would be the next most important thing of just viewing changes.
Okay, thank you.
I think for CapMeasure, we're same, just getting a good grasp on the fundamental that we already have, and something that we didn't do, kind of brush up on the design of the current backend and front end, and maybe refactor it or revise it one more time if it's needed for if there's some kind of bad structure, bad code, or not good code lines. I think that's something like we do it first, but I think the very next step, Cap Metro right now, we are still at a stable version of it, would be to convert it to a app. Because when people are looking for buses, like they're probably not gonna pull up a laptop, they're probably gonna have it on their phone. So I think that's would definitely be the next step for us as Cap Metro, because just what's more convenient for the users.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
I totally agree. I was about to say that. That's like very accurate. Or at least like even before that, responsive design. Like if we don't get to an app, since an app is difficult to have and get past on the App Store, I think responsive design would be like even like a smaller step towards making it more accessible to a person that is gonna be using it.
That's actually the more realistic goal, right, Gianna? You're probably right.
Great. Thank you all. Thanks to both teams for presenting your results, your outcomes, and answering our questions. So we've had the time to discuss. The mentors had a chance to send their appreciations and their feedback about your work. So the next step on the schedule now will be to get to the announcement of the awards. And as you know, earlier, we have mentioned that we would like to reward all of you, really, all of you, every single one, for your time and efforts. This has been a great 10 weeks. I know it has been overwhelming sometimes. There were some challenges in the way, but you made it. You were able to show a working product. So I believe that is really the best reward that you're getting out of this. having something to show in addition to what you've learned. But nonetheless, we are rewarding both teams with an award. Each of you will be receiving a letter of completion from the organization, and those will be sent out in a few days. But next we'll have Shaina presenting the awards. So she's getting set up right now. We'll make the announcement. So drum rolls. Okay, so Shaina, if you want to introduce yourself and then get started, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon or good evening, excuse me.
Yeah. I'll let you share your screen. Yeah.
But hi everyone. Again, Shaina Pinero. I was a product manager. It was an absolute pleasure working with both of the teams. You guys did an absolutely amazing job, and I'm like a proud mom over here. So I will share my screen. If you can all see, can you see the screen right here?
Not yet.
Oh,
I don't think
hold on.
it's
Give me one
showing.
sec. Hold on. Give me one sec. See, is that better? Can we see it?
Yes. Can everyone see it? Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. So it is my absolute honor to present the Apps for Good Summer 2025 Awards. Congratulations again on completing the final demo. So you should all give yourself a round of applause. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Okay. So before we announce the winner, we'll take a look at the awards criteria. First up being for technical implementation, we're looking at code quality, architecture, and functionality within the application. Presentation quality, was it clear, organized, and did it look professional? Also, project progress, milestones, completions, and development trajectory. And last but not least, and one of the most important things, team collaboration, evidence of effective teamwork and role distribution. So did your collaboration shine through the application? Actual drum roll for the first prize of AFG Summer 2025 award goes to, and it was very, very close, okay? Award goes to first place, Team Cap Metro. So congratulations, Team Cap Metro. You guys did a very fine job, as well as Team Theo, obviously in second place. So congratulations to you as well. Everyone did an amazing job. The team collaboration was amazing throughout both teams. Nothing short. Here are the prize money. So first place, $1,000. And second place will be a total of $500. Congratulations. I wish it wouldn't end. You've done an amazing job. We're so proud of the work that you put in, the dedication that it took. It took a lot of dedication from you guys as you have expressed. And we're very, very happy that with the outcome, with all that you put in. And as a thank you token, you get prize money. David, you can take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shaina. Yes, we were just talking and making the final decisions earlier, and it was really hard to come up with a final answer, almost coming to a tie. But again, all of you did an amazing job, and I'm looking forward to see you guys in the fall semester again here on campus. So before we close, I'd like to also ask for a few words from one of our special guests here in the call today. So we have Bree Miller from the Greater Texas Foundation. The foundation has been very supportive of TeamUp's program. So Bree.
Yeah.
Would you
Hi,
like to just say a few words? Yes.
absolutely. Hi, everyone. It was awesome to get to see all of your presentations this evening. You guys blew me away. You could probably give me a run for my job if we're being honest. Just don't tell my boss. But it was so impressive all the work you guys got done, and Greater Texas Foundation is so proud to be able to support y'all. And we are so excited to see what else the program continues to do. But congrats, guys. Great job. It was a wonderful evening.
Awesome. Thank you, Bray. So the prizes will be out. Now I have no idea how you guys will spend the money. Actually, Nancy has some great suggestions. Maybe I'll let her share with you. We're going to be letting you guys decide. You can get in a call and with your team leaders and decide how you want to use the funds. But Nancy, I think you had some great suggestions, right, about the prizes.
Well, one, maybe students don't like this idea, but one idea was to find some cause and donate the money. That might make you feel good. Another option, which could be fun, is to sort of host a get-together that you could use the money to fund, like a restaurant or some venue or something like that. That would be fun to just kind of all get together and relax. And I mean, the other option is to each of you get a trophy, but probably not a lot of people want to waste money on a trophy. Those were my ideas to sort of either just, I mean, and the easiest thing obviously would be just to give a gift card to each of you with your share. But I think it's really typical in real life software engineering groups to, after milestones are reached or products are released, to go out and have, well, depending on how old you are, drinks or dinner.
Great, thank you, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Claire in the call. Claire has done a lot of research for the TO app, especially since this is a product that will be or could be used here on the Texas A&M campus. So Claire, would you like to share a few words with us before we leave today?
Yes, I would love to. So I just want to say that Team Theo specifically, I watched them do so much for their product, and I'm seriously so impressed with everything they did. It was so many hours and so much hard work, and it was just so amazing to watch you guys work so well together, and just the product that you delivered is amazing. So yeah, congrats, guys. And this was so awesome to be a part of. So thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Yes, we have some of our board members as well here in the call today. And you know, Mary Paul is an executive at Walmart. She is in engineering with a background in engineering. We actually went to school together. That's from like 20 years ago at the University of Evansville. And she's here. I'd like to hear a few words from you, Mary, before we close.
Yes. Hey, David, thank you so much. Hey, thank you. Thank you to both teams. Excellent work. I would say outstanding work. Both apps are really helpful in everyday life. I love both of them. The easy functionality of both apps. So congratulations to both teams, and to all of the students. You know, I really like the way you've applied all of your knowledge in developing those apps, and most importantly, how you've learned to work collaboratively together, because this will take you a long way, especially in the real life workforce. So congratulations, and thank you.
All right, thank you, Mary. Hung?
No, I just want to say thank you to Dave that that gave me this opportunity. This was very exciting, very wonderful to actually share my thoughts, share my experience that I have been in the industry so far with the team, with everybody here to actually maybe give you a more realistic experience into the software engineer career. So just want to say thank you for everybody that just like give me a very wonderful opportunity here to work with work with both team. There. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this is it. So team leaders, you'll be hearing from me over the next few days. For all the members, we will be communicating with you one-on-one for the completion and getting your letters of recommendation sent out to you. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, as usual, you know how to reach out to us. Again, thank you all. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.